tonight's ramble is a little more rambling than the last three. I enjoyed doing the whole bit about D&D, and I'll probably come back to the subject, obviously, but time to sort of clear that out in favor of being a little more rambly, I guess. One of the things I'm going to ramble about tonight is G.I.Joe Renegades, which is this animated series that was shown on the Hub. I don't know if they have any more episodes, honestly, but it's all up on Netflix. At least the first season is. And it made me think about reboots and right ways and wrong ways to do them. I feel that G.I.Joe Renegades is actually a pretty good little show. The premise of it is that the G.I. Joe team, before they are the G.I. Joe team, I guess, were soldiers who got caught investigating Cobra, which in this cartoon world is a big mega corporation conglomerate. Think Walmart, think Monsanto, think Amazon, and you kind of get in that range. Google, all of these big corporations all kind of combined into one company, because that's the world we live in now. Where at one time we used to make jokes about, international terrorists, because, well, frankly, the U.S. didn't get hit by terrorists all that much when the original G.I. Joe cartoon ran. Now we go off the easy mark of ruthless corporations. But it just goes to show you how villains and what we consider the bad guy changes as time goes on. I expect that we will start seeing more Russian bad guys over the next few years because people are afraid of Russia again. So there's that. Anyways, back to G.I. Joe Renegades. The animation's solid. It's not the best animation ever, but it's decent. It's good. It's kind of along the lines of Ben 10 or something like that. That level of animation. And yes, I am a 40-something-year-old man talking about cartoons. Sue me. I like cartoons. I like comic books. I like games. Deal with it. Anyways, the Joes, the small team of Joes, it ends up getting caught. In the first episode, they sort of get caught by Cobra investigating them, and Cobra sets them up to make them look like terrorists, actually, because they blow up the Cobra facility that they were in. So they have to go on the run and be, quote-unquote, renegades. And the core team is Duke, Scarlet, Roadblock, Snake Eyes, of course. You can't have a really good G.I. Joe story without Snake Eyes being involved somewhere, because he's awesome that way. What's the Tunnel Rat? Yeah, there's a weird choice, Tunnel Rat. And then the Cobra side, a lot of the villains are, they become who they're going to become later on as the course of the season. Destro doesn't actually become Destro. He's just the head of Mars Industries, and during the show he gets the metal mask and becomes Destro during the course of the show. Baroness is still Baroness, but Dr. Mindbender gets sort of rethought up as this wisecracking, college intern looking scientist, as opposed to the wacky bald guy that was with the cape, which was in the original series. And the G.I. Joes run into their various sort of future team members during their adventures. You run into Barbecue before he's Barbecue. They give him their little nicknames. Oh yeah, and they run into Ripcord. Sort of is in the first episode, but he disappears and then shows up later. It's a thing. Breaker is a hacker who has been revealing Cobra's secrets, and so they recruit him to help them out, but he doesn't run around with them. They're running around with Cobra gear because they're not the soldier guys, and there's a bunch of little interesting things in there. That the way they've reimagined it keeps all of the characters true to who the character is. Snake Eyes is the silent assassin who was trained, the Westerner trained in ninjutsu, gets falsely accused of murder. You end up with Scarlet, who's the sort of intelligence officer, also kind of a really good martial artist. You've got Duke, who is, your good standard. This guy's a good sergeant. He leads a good squad. You've got Roadblock. He's the big, beefy guy who fires a large weapon and also, does some Creole cooking on the side because he's from Louisiana. But they keep to the core of those characters from the comics / cartoon, but they've rewritten them in such a way to give them room to breathe, and without making them somehow more extreme or more weird or darker or edgy or anything. They tweak them so that they can play with the story dynamic without destroying what the characters are. And I think that's really cool. I think that's a really good way to do a reboot. Over the course of the season, they run into a lot of the familiar faces: Storm Shadow, Jinx. They run into Major Blood. They hook up with several future Joes along the way. They run into Bazooka and what's his name? Barbecue. Barbecue's working for Cobra as a firefighter, and he decides to, back off. And there are a bunch of really interesting sort of redos of the origin of those characters to make it an interesting way to retell the story without some of the previous expectations. So it feels new and interesting. They also do a good job of sort of using touchstones for emotional reality for the characters. They actually deal with, veterans having PTSD in one episode, which I thought was, pretty cool. It's going to go over the head of a lot of kids, but I appreciated the fact that they at least tried to deal with it. It wasn't the... it wouldn't pass psychological muster, I guess, but it was good. It was pretty solid. And I think if you're going to do a reboot of a cartoon, this is a good model for how to do it. To make the characters interesting and have depth and give them new challenges without actually changing who that character is. That's a hard line to walk, but I think they do it real well in this series. And I've been enjoying rewatching it on Netflix. Beyond that, not much else to report. I am still not king. Still not king. And I've been playing some games. And I need to write the review on one of them. And I'm so far behind. But, yeah, I mean, I've got to write a review for Shoost on the new Shadowrun Online. I've been playing WildStar, which is fun. It's not blow me away fun, but it's fun. I think I would have a lot more fun if I had more of my friends playing. So if you're on there and you're looking around, look me up. I'm not sure how you would look me up. I'm Hackdoor on the Dominion side, and Barton Drake on the Exile side. Add me if you want to. And I've been playing some like you know what my hand signals are. I've been playing some Assassin's Creed 3, which it's beginning to get to the point where I like it. And, the early part of it, I was unsure if I was going to enjoy it, but we've gotten to the parts of the original game, the last game that I like, where you're building up your resources and you're recruiting assassins and doing things like that to sort of build up in preparation for the things that you will have to do later. I like having that option. I think that's cool. And exploring the countryside's kind of neat. I still feel like the aesthetics of the game isn't as solid as the Assassin's Creed 2 series, the Ezio games. Mainly because it's really hard to compete with Renaissance Italy. It just is. And, America in this time period is cool, but the things that make it cool is not its architecture and art overall. There are some sort of nifty things, but most of they kind of pale in comparison to the grandeur of Renaissance Italy. I think that it would be interesting for them to do some other settings for the Assassin's Creed series. I mentioned this once before that I thought would be really neat to have them do a Boxer Rebellion event in the series, where you're going back to the memories of somebody, two people. It'd be kind of cool because Saints and Saints and Heroes? Yeah, Heroes and Saints or whatever. There was a recent comic that was amazing that told the story from both the rebellion side and the Christian side, and I found that really fascinating, and I'd love to see an Assassin's Creed treatment of that idea of playing both sides, of showing both sides of that argument. Most of the time when they show a side, they show it from the one perspective. And they might have NPCs who say, well, our viewpoint is this, this, and this. But most of the time you're only seeing it from one side of the argument. I'd love to see them do you jump into the memories of the different ancestors on two different sides of the argument. It'd be cool. It's cool. But I'm looking forward to the fourth one. So, was it fourth? Fifth. The one that's the French Revolution. That looks interesting to me. French Revolution has a lot of interesting stuff going for it. So, I'm going to say, yeah, that should be fun. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up because I'm at 15 minutes. And hopefully the next few will be shorter. And maybe I'll be king. Catch you later.